I don't care if my son shot Jesus Christ himself and I was a devout Christian, I would not be turning him in.
I don't care if my son shot Jesus Christ himself and I was a devout Christian, I would not be turning him in. That's all I have to say about that.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we have a picture of the tolerant left.
So you know, Tyler Robinson was just arrested this morning in southern Utah, about 250 miles away from where Charlie Kirk was unalived.
Right.
He is now the lead suspect, and the governor of Utah came out this morning saying, we got him.
And by the way, here is a list of the most recent shooting incidents over the last, year or two or something like that. But if you notice, there's a pattern. Not saying this guy was part of the trans community, but I think he was a sympathizer.
There was engravings on the bullets, just so you guys are aware. There was engravings. One said, "Hey, fascist." One said, "Catch." One said, "If you read this, you're gay." LMAO. Another one had up, down, right, or up, right, down, down, down. I guess maybe that's. I remember back in the day there was cheat codes in GTA. Maybe that's what that was. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about that, but I did hear about that. Anyway, they have caught the gunman or the shooter or whatever. And it's pretty much curtains for that guy. But as far as it goes, when it comes to turning over a family member, if you know they unalived someone, chances are it's going to happen. But like anything else, you got to be in that situation to actually make that call. But there's a good chance my family member is going to the big house.
I'll tell you why I would definitely turn my son in if he did this. Because I believe it's the right thing to do.
By the way, this is Sisha Zed. He's got a podcast on YouTube. I think it's called The Coffee Pot. I could have that wrong, but its name is Sisha Zed.
Why do I believe that? Because my overall allegiance is not just to my family. I have principles and a standard that I live by that transcend that. To a lot of people, their family's it, right? They would help their family hide a dead body. To them, the right thing to do would be to protect their family at all costs, maybe even implicating themselves and being guilty. There are people who are race loyal. Their allegiance overall is to their race.
Yeah, you see this sort of thing with most races. I see it in the black race a lot, especially in the States. Some guy with a smooth voice comes on, starts talking, says he's for the blacks. They fall for it immediately. They vote for the guy. Not because he's any good, but he is black and the guy's not. Done. He's got the vote.
Other pastors say, why does Pastor Jennings come at us like we brothers, right? So,
why? What make us brothers? Because we're the same color?
Yeah.
No, because you black, I don't make you my brother. Not at all.
You like, I want to talk the truth. I don't care if you're black, white, or green.
Exactly. Jesus says this: who is my mother, sister, or brother? But he that do the will of my Father which is in heaven is the same as my mother, sister, brother. So I'm not your brother because you're black. I'm your brother if you do the will of God. Otherwise than that, there's only two categories. I'm either your brother or your enemy.
But you call out certain preachers.
Yes, you didn't want me to call you out. You shouldn't let me know your name.
I'm sure you don't have to look too far to see people who move in that way. If the people who they're dealing with don't look like them, they don't care. Their only allegiance is to themselves. So why would I turn my son in if he murdered somebody? Well, because based on my faith and my leaning and trusting in Jesus' teachings, that's the right thing to do.
Let me tell you how it works with most people. First, they're black. Second is their politics. Then their family. Sometimes friends. And then we got God. So God is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's fifth. Black first, politics second, family third, friends fourth, then God. When it should be God first. But that's not the way it works.
Turn my son in. Even if I loved Charlie Kirk, for the record, I absolutely don't. I think he's an abhorrent human. I would never turn my son in. Again, if I was a devout Christian and he shot Jesus Christ, I wouldn't turn my son in.
But you hear? He says, if I was a devout Christian, I wouldn't turn my son in. If you were truly a devout Christian, then you would know that the Bible calls for prioritizing love for God above all else, right? Including family, including friends. You need to do the right thing. And what does love for God mean? God says, if you love me, keep my commandments. And that comes down to your actions.
Look, people like this are all over the place here. You can't get mad at them, right? You go down to their level. He's just a man who is lacking in understanding. Right? You just gotta give this guy time to actually wake up, or maybe he won't. But what he just said was pure gibberish, made no sense. Easily broke. His argument is easily broken down because it's nonsensical. But I think he's highly emotional. He's one of these highly emotional guys. Speaks without thinking. Speaking from emotion and not logic.
That's like saying if I was a devout Nazi, then I wouldn't have done what they did. But you would have. And then there's the whole point of like people just being too self-confident. I would hope that I would do the right thing.